Hello students, this is Professor Mitchell, and this video is designed to show you basic formatting for MLA formatted papers. Please note that this video is not going to show you how to do the formatting. There are videos posted to Canvas to show you how to do that. This is just going to go over some basic formatting things. So you'll notice on the first page, we have a header up in the top right corner. Note that this is in the header space. If you look closely, you'll see that the header is slightly grayed compared to the text of the document. So I can easily highlight here. I cannot easily highlight here because I'm not actually in the header space. If you double click on the header space, then you'll see that this is now black font and the rest of the text is slightly grayed out. Depending on your particular word processor that you're using, that will determine how you deal with how to get to your header. Again, not going to show you how to do that in this video. There are other videos posted to Canvas to show you that. An MLA header should have your last name and the page numbers. In whatever word processing program you're using, make sure you use the insert page number when you're doing the header. Otherwise, it will just repeat the number of whatever number you type. So make sure you use the insert page number button to actually add your page numbers so that the document will automatically count the page numbers for you. And although this just says student RJW, this is just a generic name that I put on this paper to anonymize the student's work. But this would be your last name. So for instance, if this was my paper, it would say Mitchell and then the number 1. If it's someone whose last name is Smith, it would say Smith and then the number 1, and then it would just count 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth throughout the document. All right, so that is the header, goes in the top right corner in MLA formatting. This is your heading. Slight difference in words. You know, MLA should have come up with different terminology, but whatever, slightly different in words. So an MLA heading is the student's first and last name in that order, first, last, the instructor's name. The student put Professor Mitchell for me. Mitchell is fine. T. Mitchell, Professor Mitchell, something like that. The class, which for this class is English 1020, and then the date of submission. If you look on any MLA formatting sites, you will see that it tells you to list it as day, month, year, which would look like this for this paper. I'm not keen on, demanding that you write the date like this because this is not how American English normally writes dates. We normally write it month, day, comma, and then the year. So as long as you have the date of submission, which means your date should change each time you're doing a submission. But however you put it in here is fine with me. All right. And then next on the very next line is the title for the paper. This is the research. I'm using the sample as a research argument sample from my sample of papers that I have. So this title will be a little bit different depending on the assignment that you're turning in. Make sure you look at each assignment document to see what the title should be. So again, we got our heading. And then on the very next line is the title. Note that there is not additional space between these two. It is on the very next line. So don't add extra space. And then on the very next line after the title is where your essay starts. You'll notice that I just backspaced here a moment ago. It's because it was too much indent. Your paragraph should be indented using one tab. Just hit the tab key one time and you'll indent just fine. If you are using Word, typically after you've indented a paragraph, maybe 2 times throughout the paper, Word will recognize that you are indenting when you go to new paragraphs, and it may start doing that for you. So just be mindful of that, because if Word has indented for you and then you indent again, then your indent will be too much. So one tab key to do the indent. And then the paper starts. So we got header in the top right corner. We have heading in the top left corner, only on the first page, and the title, and then the essay starts. And you'll notice that, each paragraph is indented using one tab key. You'll notice on the second page, we have our header. Again, the page numbers are counting for you. You will notice here that there is an infographic in this particular document. Again, I'm using the research argument sample paper. So we'll worry about infographics when we get to that later in the semester. But this is a part of the research argument requirement. And I'll just scroll through this document until we get to the works cited page. So the works cited should be on its own page. You'll notice a significant gap between the end of the essay and then where works cited. Your works cited should start on its own page. And the way you do that is you insert a page break. So if your essay ends, up here on the previous page, you put your cursor at the end, you insert a page break, and works cited will automatically bounce to the next page. You can do that as soon as you start the paper. You don't have to wait till you've written the entire essay to insert that page break and then start your works cited. So as soon as you put in your header, title, insert a page break, type the words works cited, and works cited will be on its own page for the duration of your paper. Something else to notice, that it is works cited. Please notice how that is titled here. And it should be centered. This title should be centered, just like your first title in the paper should be centered. And then the works cited is alphabetized. So you would alphabetize based on the first author, or in some cases, the only author listed for a citation. And then you'll notice here, this one doesn't have an author. So this person has alphabetized it according to the first word of the title. This first word is medicine, so they alphabetized it by M. And so this is slightly out of order, so we are going to correct that. Alrighty, so there we go, because S comes before T. Okay, so they've alphabetized this by S, and then this last T, the last source starting with T goes after. If, for instance, you have a source that is, let's say this started with V medicine, this would still be alphabetized by M, not by T. That's because for MLA citing, if you have a source that does not have an author and you need to alphabetize it by title, if the title starts with A-N, or the, then you skip that first word and you go to the very next word that is not A-N or the. So in this case, you would alphabetize by M still, even if the was the first word. And that is the gist of MLA formatting. So again, header, heading, title, your whole essay, and then works cited at the end, and alphabetize your works citing. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know.